Hey everyone, in this video I want to give you a quick tour of our course. So I'm actually going to switch to student mode because I usually do that before I start these, just to make sure that you're seeing what you will actually see when you log in. So this should look somewhat familiar, I hope. Um, Again, I just want to explain a little bit about how I organize the class here in Blackboard so that you can find everything you need, so you can get started and off on the right track. Also, as I've said elsewhere, and will probably say in other places as well, please ask questions whenever you have them about the digital tools or about anything that we're doing in class. I'm always happy to help out, and I think we're in this together, so I'm happy to be working alongside you during the intersession. I tend to work in the mornings, so usually between 8 and noon. Sometimes I also work in the afternoons and I'll check messages, but I understand that many of you will be working in the evenings or whatever works for your schedule. Just find something that fits, and we will be able to communicate with each other the next time that either of us is on. Okay, so again, this should look familiar to you. Here's our class landing page. As you scroll down, you'll just find some reminders to check announcements. Here's a link to the announcements. This link will take you to the course hashtag search in Twitter as we get going with that. And then here you can get a My Grades link. So that's all I put on the front page. If you're watching this video, you've already clicked Start Here, as you should have done. I'll be replacing this old video with the one I'm currently recording now. Please do go through the Start Here module. It has a lot of reference information. It has CNM's plagiarism policy, as well as some system requirements, links to get things like Adobe Acrobat. It has a reminder about how you can get Office 365 for free as a CNM student. So again, take advantage of that, walk through it. Just make sure you're familiar with everything there. And if you haven't already checked out the syllabus, I did email that to you about a week and a half ago, I think. Go to the syllabus tab. There is a link to the syllabus and Start Here as well. But go here, open the syllabus. You'll note I have it open in another tab already. Read through that. It's important to understand everything that's listed in the syllabus. It includes links to all of the assignment instructions. It also includes a course schedule and links to the outside readings. On the first page of the syllabus, there's a link to where you need to go to purchase the ebook that we'll be using for class. And then here's just another link to the discussion board requirements, the journal instructions. As you'll find, there are multiple ways to get to all of these things. And so that's the way I've created the course. You have multiple ways to get to all of the resources that you'll need. But as long as you understand the syllabus and you work through the learning modules step by step, that's how you'll have your checklist of what you need to do every unit. So the class is divided into units that last 2 days, and that should become pretty apparent as you go along. And then all of these other course content links here or tabs are there for your information. So for example, if you're working on the timeline for Unit 2, remember there's no timeline assignment for Unit 1, but you don't want to go back into the learning module to get to the submission area for the timeline, you can use the timeline tab. Also, you'll note here's a link to the course timeline itself. So remember, you don't need to create your own Tiki-Taki account. You just need to click on the timeline assignment instructions and use the login information I've provided for you there. Please do watch the tutorials. This one shows you how to use Tiki-Taki. This one explains the content. So once you know how to use it, what are you supposed to do with it? And these overlap a little bit. And then one of the key elements that you need to include in your timeline assignments is an explanation of the historical significance of the topic you've chosen. So that's there. As you keep scrolling down, you'll find Unit 2 timeline submissions. So again, hypothetically, we're working on Unit 2. You want to submit your work, but you don't want to go back through the learning module. You can come here to do it. Here's the link for the ID step, a link for the connection step. Both of those are available again in the learning module, but they're also available here. I showed you this one in particular because the submission folders are kind of buried beneath all of the tutorials and such. So again, check all of these tabs to see what's there for you, and then use the learning modules to navigate through the course and check off everything that you need to do. Also, I jumped over all of this. There's some information about me, my contact information at a glance, just a brief written introduction to myself, as well as the information about my response time, about late work, and so on. The course schedule, that's also in the syllabus, but if you want to access it there, it's just another place where you can get to it. And then if you use the Blackboard calendar, it's there for you. It's not something I use, but I have students who like it, so I include it. All right, learning modules. So as you'll notice, everything's open. You can work ahead, although you do need to make sure you go back at the appropriate times to complete your connection steps for the timeline. Again, all of that should be apparent as you read through the course materials. I'm not going to open Unit 1 because that unit's a little different. I think it's fairly self-explanatory as you work through all of the prompts there. You'll do your introductions to all of us on the discussion board. You'll get started with Twitter. What else will you do? Create an avatar for Blackboard. All of those kinds of getting started things. Unit 2 through 6 all follow essentially the exact same outline. The material's different in each one, but the assignments are the same. So these are the kind of bread and butter. This is what we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks units. So I'll show you this one. To navigate through these, you can either use a table of contents. If your table of contents is hidden, use these buttons here to unhide it and size it. Or you can just use these arrows to navigate through. Each of the learning modules has a unit introduction where I've just written kind of the basic broad strokes of what we're going to be learning in terms of the history for that unit. Notice that each unit covers a specific time frame. So Unit 2, for example, goes through the earliest peoples to roughly the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. I mean, that will become apparent as you complete the assigned readings as well. When you do your timeline assignment, make sure that you choose a topic that fits within that time frame. All right, then here's the checklist. So during the first day of the unit, remember this unit is January 2nd and 3rd. So January 2nd, you need to complete the readings, complete your reading tweets. That's 15 comments and 10 comments and 5 replies. Kind of like taking notes as you read. You'll get more on that in the reading tweets assignment. Complete those and submit the ID step of the timeline assignment. So you will have chosen your topic and posted your ID step to the timeline on Tiki and also to that folder that I just showed you here on Blackboard. During the second day, you'll kind of do the analysis, I don't want to say cleaning up, sort of like cleaning up for the unit. You'll post your connection step on timeline and also here in CNM Learn or Blackboard, and you'll complete the journal entry. This blue just reminds you need to complete 2 of the 4 discussion forums available over here, the 2 that you like best of the 4 that are there available by the end of the course. All right, and you'll notice I have these old intro videos here. I had hair, I didn't have a beard. I need to replace those. All right, moving along. Every unit will have the readings listed for the second thing here. So notice there are readings in the ebook. That's what this is, Morgan, chapters 2 through 4. There's a link to an Exploratorium, Chaco Canyon. And then this is a podcast episode about Oñate's severed foot, the statue. So those are the required materials. And again, I understand this is a fast-paced class. You'll probably have to do a lot of skimming. This one you can listen to. But again, just do your very best to judiciously skim through, kind of take out the main ideas from the chapters. The chapters have headings, so you can kind of group what you're learning. Key terms are highlighted. There are glossaries for some of those. So use all of those features to help you. These are optional things that you can look at if you get the chance. And then these questions to consider, there's no assignment connected to them, but they're just things that you should think about as you read. So you might read through these first, then do the reading, and that'll help you kind of hopefully get to those main ideas as I mentioned. Each unit has film clips included as well. These are not intended to be the bulk of the course material that you use, but they're here as supplements to help you better understand the things that we read about or listened to. So as noted here at the top, you probably will not be able to watch all of these, so just do what you can. If you end up not watching any of them, that's not going to hurt you, because as I mentioned, the reading is the core of the course. But again, those are there to help. Every now and then I'll add an FYI kind of informational section in the unit. There's an indigenous movement called Idle No More that's active online, especially on Twitter. So this is just something you can look at since we're talking about the First Peoples in this unit. This next section just reminds you to go and complete your reading tweets. There's nothing to submit for the reading tweets here in Blackboard. You'll do everything on Twitter, as is explained over here in the assignment instructions and the tutorials. Here's the link that I mentioned to the timeline submissions. So you can, if it doesn't open, you just click to launch, and it will take you over here to the folder for the Unit 2 submissions that I showed you earlier. Also, if you need the instructions for the assignment again, you can get them there. Similarly with the journal, you'll click to launch. Once you do, on the following page, you'll find the instructions for the journal assignments. Remember, those are also available in the syllabus tab. And then finally, each unit has a self-assessment and looking ahead. So it just kind of walks through, these are the things you need to have done to have completed all of the work for this unit. Here are up and coming due dates. This is the reminder about the discussion board and the final project. There aren't, what's the right way to put that? There's nothing about the final project in the learning modules until something's due. So going back to the learning modules list, for example, the topic for your final project is due on January 5th at the end of Unit 3. It's mentioned right here. So what you'll need to do for that, as is explained in the final project instructions that you can get here and via the syllabus, you'll need to choose a topic and a research question and submit those to Blackboard here in this spot. So you notice you can also jump ahead just by using the table of contents. So here's a submission for that. Hopefully that makes sense. Check out the extra credits, a film review if you would like to do that. There's also a chance to do a timeline reflection for extra credit in the course. Again, remember, as long as you work through the learning modules in order, use the intro and self-assessment sections to make sure you've done all the work, and then use these to get the instructions for anything you're not sure about. And as always, please ask questions whenever you have them, and I'll be happy to help out.